Hello, my dear students. I hope you are doing well. So today we are beginning the third month of our course of our learning English, and I hope that you haven't lost your motivation, your desire, your willingness to learn English, to to continue the learning process. And um, to be honest, you've been doing quite well. I'm really satisfied with the results. I'm always happy to receive speaking tasks from you. For example, I always, I quite like listening to your audio messages. And so today we're going to talk about food matters, healthy eating, things like that. And you know that it's always been a vital topic, a very important topic to discuss, because the way we eat, the way what we eat, it always influences our mood, affects our behavior, productivity, our energy. Not only does it influence our health. So that's why I wanted to discuss with you and to know your points of view. Okay, so let's get started. Here you can see the question: are you a fussy eater? So fussy, it means picky. Do you normally pick what you eat? For example, I eat this, I don't like this. So this is a fussy eater. It's kind of capricious people who don't like some kinds of food. Okay, and usually children are fussy eaters. So, and first of all, I want to give you some very different opinion about very different opinion from our points of view about what we eat, and I have never thought about it, for example, um, myself. So that's why I wanted to give you this. So first of all, let me read it, and then I will ask you questions. Okay. So today in my fridge there are a few grapes, a bunch of bananas, and some fruit juice. Things that are not expensive and that are good for me. There is also a pizza and some burgers in the freezer, which are not so good. I know what this food does to my body, but what does it do to the world around me? It's time to look at my carbon footprint and sort out the good from the bad and the really ugly. So this article mainly is about our carbon footprint. And carbon footprint, you can see here its definition. It's a measure of the amount of carbon dioxide that is produced by the daily activities of a person or company. For example, companies are looking at ways to reduce their carbon footprints. So any single person on our planet has their own carbon footprint, which is produced by their daily activities. For example, if you eat something, you give off carbon dioxide. То есть выделяете, да, carbon dioxide. Even if you just breathe, даже когда вы дышите, even when you're breathing, you give off carbon dioxide. So any single person on our planet, any single creature even, то есть создание, да, be it, for example, animals or plants, they have their carbon dioxide. So that's why this person who has written this article is choosing its food. He is choosing his food according to the carbon footprint. Okay, so my first stop is the label. Label — это этикетки. Что написано на этикетке? Labels give us lots of information: how long we can keep our food, how many calories it has, and where it comes from. A few hundred years ago, most of our food came from places we could walk to, but today food travels thousands of miles. We refrigerate it, then transport it in planes and ships all over the world. This creates pollution and causes global warming. I look at the slices of pizza and immediately feel guilty, not because it's unhealthy, but because the prawns on it are from Thailand. I know we produce prawns in the UK, but they're more expensive. I take out a banana. It's from Brazil, but that's not too bad. It came here by boat, so the carbon footprint of this healthy snack is small. Packaging. Packaging, it means упаковка, да? The next stop is packaging. In the UK, we don't recycle all our packaging. We throw away more than 30% of it. This waste goes to the rubbish dump and not to the recycling center. Luckily, we don't need to package food like bananas, but food like grapes needs protection. I look at the grapes in my fridge. They are in a plastic container and they are from Spain. Production. So my grapes are from Spain, but at least they grew in natural sunlight. Но, по крайней мере, они растут при дневном свете. In the UK, people grow grapes in heated greenhouses, which means British grapes are less energy efficient. А в Великобритании, получается, они растут в теплицах, heated greenhouses, что означает, что они менее энергозатратные, да? Energy efficient, энергосберегаемые, сберегающие. But there is one other thing in my freezer, and if pizza and grapes are bad, then this food is really ugly. It's the burgers. They have the biggest carbon footprint because they come from cows. In the USA, cows create the same amount of greenhouse gases as 20 million cars. As I close the fridge door, I make a checklist for my next trip to the supermarket. The first one, read the label. Next, look at the packaging. Don't buy a lot of meat. Maybe I could grow my own vegetables too. It's eco-friendly. I'd save some money and I wouldn't feel guilty about eating burgers. So what was very impressive, no, not impressive, very interesting for me is that, that meat is, when we eat meat, it means that we have a more carbon footprint. So that's why we do some things that cause global warming. Yes, and you know that Kazakh people eat a lot of meat, be it cows, beef, horse's meat or lamb. So that's why it was very thought-provoking. It made me think for a while. Yes, I'm not meaning, for example, I don't mean that I'm going to give up eating meat. I'm not going to give up eating meat because I know that it's a good source of protein. So that's why we shouldn't give up meat. Не должны отказываться от мяса. But nevertheless, it made me think for a little. Okay, let's move on. So this is completely different story. It's not about anyone's opinion about how to eat healthy, but this is about Victoria Beckham's daily routine and her diet. And I thought that it would be interesting for you to know what celebrities eat during their day. For example, this woman, she starts her day very early, around 5 or 6 a.m. and you know that every morning she goes running. Every morning she goes for a run for 5 kilometers. Every single morning she goes for a run, and it was so impressive for me. So that's why I wanted to share. And she takes 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. And also she, for breakfast, she has green smoothie made of apple, kiwi, lemon, spinach, broccoli and chia seeds. And sometimes she eats sprouted grain cereals with organic almond milk. Sprouted — это как бы выращенные зерна, да? Или как же на русском говорят? Ну, в общем, вы меня поняли. Зерна отращиваемые, да? Или как проросшие зерна и с органическим миндальным молоком. Okay? And the designer loves vegetables, particularly broccoli, beans and peas, and she eats them with fish, mainly salmon. Salmon — это тунец. Нет, не тунец, а семга. She also has a huge love for sushi. For example, I also love sushi, but sometimes I don't doubt should I eat it or not, because I know that they use a lot of raw fish, сырую рыбу. That's why sometimes it can be full of parasites. So that's why it makes me think about it. And she never drinks milk and never eats cheese, so she gave up dairy products. То есть она отказалась от молочных изделий. And look at her phrases like, I get up quite early, around 6 a.m. and do an hour in the gym before the kids get up. Then I give them breakfast and debit, or I take them to school. I'll then fit in another hour's workout before I go to the office. I'm very disciplined, I have to be. It's really the only time in the day I get to myself. Вот эта фраза очень тоже как бы нужное, да, I get to myself, которое я могу себе, сама себе посвятить. Another phrases, another quote. I go for a 3-mile run every morning, and если учитывать, что 1 миля это 1 километр и 600 метров, тогда это будет 5 километров где-то. And I work out for an hour, which gives me just enough time to get to the kitchen to puree Romeo's avocados. Romeo is your son. Puree, то есть сделать пюре из авокадо. And she says also, I expect a lot from my body, she said. I'm never sick. You have to be kind to your body if you expect a lot from it. То есть она никогда не болеет, и она говорит, что вы должны быть добры к своему телу, если вы ожидаете от него многого. And she said that she's very disciplined, and so she said that she has to be, and her food is very clean. То есть ее еда очень чистая. She doesn't any sugar, any cakes, you know. So that's why, for example, for me, who likes sweets a lot, it's really motivating. Okay, let's move on. These are some words which will be useful for you to discuss the questions which will come later on, and I will just give you some of them. For example, many companies, food companies, they produce the food, or manufacture, it's a synonym. Some of them, they grow in heated greenhouses, for example, in the UK or in Kazakhstan. In Astana also we have some greenhouses, and we grow our cucumbers and tomatoes there. And it's not energy efficient, because it's energy efficient if we grow them in open fields, in natural sunlight, yes. So, and also many food companies, they make processed food, yes, processed food, обработанную пищу, and they add a lot of additives to it, yes, add a lot of additives like you know, E-agents, вот эти ешки, E-agents, or antibiotics, or hormones even, which are very, very harmful for our health. Then they package it, yes, they package, then they label and write, and they are supposed to write all the things that they add to this food, but they don't always write the true information. For example, they can write low food or low fat, but it's at the same time it's full of sugar, you know. Then after they have packaged it, labeled, they can store it. They can store it in, you know, in a shops, you know, and then transport it, then distribute it among people, among other countries. After the people get the food, they may recycle, yes, the packaging, for example. They may reuse the food, or give them to the poor people or to the animals. Yes, some leftovers, for example, leftover это остатки пищи. They may give them to animals, to domestic animals, to dogs and cats. Some of them can be wasted, yes, just thrown away to the rubbish dump, and it's very, you know, it's not good. And these would create pollution, of course. Yes, pollution, of course, because we have a lot of, you know, rubbish on our territory, and all this process can cause global warming and can accelerate it, ускорять. Okay, and fast food can cause obesity. You know, obesity, it's a state when a body has a lot of extra weight, and when the people are suffering from being overweight, yes. If they get overweight, they suffer from it, get overweight. And sometimes sometimes even children gain weight because they consume a lot of fast food, junk food at school, or it doesn't matter where. Then they may have food-related diseases like diabetes, like high blood pressures, like even cancers, because many diseases, or maybe All the diseases are caused by what we eat. Yes, and so that's why many people have high rates of diabetes, and it in its turn shortens the lifespan of people. Это укорачивает в свою очередь жизнь людей, and it may lead to death. Yes, то есть может привести к смерти. It may lead to some very serious diseases, and people may suffer from not only obesity, for example, and from diabetes and others. So I have given you all these words, and I know that you know them, maybe you know part of them, maybe you don't. So that's why I wanted to give you, so that you can use it while speaking, okay? And some definitions for these, how to say that, for these terms related to food. Proteins, белки, carbohydrates or carbs, это углеводы, calorie, fat, жиры, minerals, vitamins, nutrients. All of these things are nutrients. Minerals, vitamins, carbohydrates, proteins, fat, fiber, it's nutrient, okay? Это пищевые, нутриенты, в общем. Spices, пряности, salt, sugar, fiber, клетчатка, additives, это вот эти добавки. Okay, and now it's time for grammar. So we have discussed a lot of things, a lot of grammar topics like past continuous, like present perfect, like conditionals, but we haven't discussed passive voice yet, and it's very, very important. So in English we have active voice and passive voice. Active voice when the subject does this action itself, or himself, or herself. Когда вот это подлежащее само совершает вот это вот действие. Да, это active voice. Например, я пригласила. I invited some guests. And passive voice, subject, she or he doesn't do this action. It was the object of this action. То есть он является объектом этого действия. То есть над ним было совершено это действие. Например, я пригласила, это я пригласила, да, я сделала это действие, а здесь меня пригласили и кто-то, да. Когда не важно, кто пригласил, или когда важно именно вот то, что меня пригласили, мы можем использовать passive voice. Okay? I was invited to the party. Когда мы хотим сделать ударение на вот это, на то, что меня пригласили, а не кто пригласил, да, тогда можно именно сделать passive voice. I was invited to the party. Если, например, важно, что Бен меня пригласил, тогда, конечно, можно сказать Ben invited me to the party. Дальше. Например, я позвонила маме. I called my mom. I was called. Мне позвонили. Okay? Например, мне только что позвонили. I have just been called. Здесь, конечно, мы используем present perfect passive voice только в present perfect. Дальше. I chose something to wear. Я выбрал что-то одеть. I was chosen to make a report. Меня выбрали. И здесь я выбрала, а тут меня выбрали, чтобы сделать доклад. I wrote a book. Я написала книгу. The book was written by me. Эта книга написана мною. Да? Либо, например, эта книга написана мною. Тут невозможно сделать I was written. Меня написали. Дальше. I painted a picture. Я нарисовала картину. Либо the picture was painted by me. Эта картина нарисована мною. Либо by Picasso, by someone else. I ate the whole pizza. Скушала целую пиццу. Либо all pizzas were eaten by me. Все пиццы были съедены мною. Окей. И как вы уже поняли, passive voice может быть в настоящем, да, в present simple, тогда здесь вместо was будет везде is или am-are, окей? I am. Например, мне звонят постоянно, да? I'm called. I'm always called during the day. Если он также может быть в past simple, да, это когда мы was, were ставим. Он также может быть present continuous, present perfect, future simple, в принципе, во всех временах. Но, однако, сейчас я не буду это все сразу давать, потому что сейчас самое главное для вас это запомнить present simple passive и past simple passive. Вот посмотрите. В present вы используете to be, am, is, are. И в passive, в past simple вы используете was, were. Например, I'm always invited. Меня всегда приглашают. И I was invited to the wedding party. Меня пригласили на свадьбу. It's produced by the company that. Это произведено какой-то компанией. It was produced by the factory. Это было произведено каким-то заводом. It's divided into two parts. Это поделено на две части. It was divided. Это было поделено. Books are printed every day. Книги печатаются каждый день. Books were printed 2000 years ago. Книги печатались 1000 лет назад. It's situated near the center. Находится, это располагается рядом с центром. It was situated. Это было или располагалось. Photos are stored in iCloud. Фотографии хранятся в iCloud. Photos were stored in flash disks. Раньше фотографии хранились во флеш-дисках. Окей? И это вот формула. В принципе, я знаю по вашим уровням, да, в основном вы все это уже знаете, но тем не менее, как бы дополнительно. So, your task 1. Make your own 10 or 15 sentences using passive voice. Okay? It can be about food, it can be about your lives. Okay? It's up to you. Next task is, as always, it's kind of grammar exercises. You should give the third part, the third verb of these irregular verbs, the third form, I mean. It's also called past participle. То есть третья форма, она еще называется past participle. Например, break, третья форма broken. Дальше, also you should put all these verbs in brackets into the present simple passive form. То есть именно в passive, только present simple form, настоящем. И это как раз-таки про еду, про то, как пиццы делаются. Дальше, следующее. Здесь вы должны поставить past simple passive form, то есть все в прошедшем. Окей? Past simple только в прошедшем. Ой, passive только в прошедшем. Окей. So, and also I will send you link to this video, and I think that you know this man. His name is Jamie Oliver, and he is worldwide famous chef, повар, okay, and he stands for, you know, he always works for the health of children, you know. He stands for the clean eating, clean food at schools. So that's why he's an activist. Okay, so I want you to watch this video on your own, write down some useful phrases, useful words, maybe words that you didn't know here, that you want to learn to memorize, and then share with me. Okay, now I'm going to show you just an extract from his speech. Okay, if you don't mind.
Sadly, in the next 18 minutes when I do our chat, 4 Americans that are alive will be dead through the food that they eat. My name's Jamie Oliver. I'm 34 years old. I'm from Essex in England. And for the last 7 years, I've worked fairly tirelessly to save lives in my own way. I'm not a doctor. I'm a chef. I don't have expensive equipment or medicine. I use information, education. I profoundly believe that the power of food has a primal place in our homes that binds us to the best bits of life. We have an awful, awful reality right now. America, you're at the top of your game. This is one of the most unhealthy countries in the world. Can I please just see a raise of hands for how many of you have children in this room today? Please put your hands up. Aunties, uncles, you can continue to put your hands up. Aunties and uncles as well? Most of you. Okay. We, the adults of the last 4 generations, have blessed our children with the destiny of a shorter lifespan than their own parents.
Okay, so that's enough for the video lesson. You will watch it on your own, and I think that you will get more information, more interesting, you know, points to discuss. And now let me give you your final task. It's as always, it's speaking task. So the first question is, have you ever thought about your carbon footprint? Okay, Do you think it's sensible to choose your food according to how much carbon footprint it produces? Как вы думаете, это рационально, да, разумно вообще выбирать свою еду, исходя из того, что сколько, скажем, carbon footprint она выделяет? Okay. As for cows, in meat in general, что касается именно коровы и мяса, да, в целом, do you agree with the point of view that we should reduce the consumption of beef and other meat? Мы должны, должны ли мы снизить потребление говядины или другого мяса? What do you think about Victoria Beckham's diet? Could you follow it? What causes obesity in your opinion? Что приводит к ожирению? What kind of problems might we have if we don't eat healthy? Какие проблемы могут быть у нас, если мы будем питаться правильно? What do you think the healthy eating is? Что для вас это здоровое питание? Потому что оно всегда меняется. It always changes. For example, 20 years ago or even 10 years ago, it was, healthy eating was 5 small daily intakes, daily meals, containing, for example, a lot of vegetables, but low fat. But now it's a bit different, and doctors around the world, they are struggling against this point of view, against these 5 meals a day. So next question is, who is Jamie Oliver? What does he stand for? Stand for, что он защищает, либо what does he support, and what does he do? Okay? Чем он вообще занимается? Что он защищает? К чему он, что он ратует? За что он ратует, да? Which new words and phrases from this video would you choose and write them in your copybook? And also I want you to discuss these arguments, these statements. Men are better cooks than women. Both boys and girls should learn to cook at school. Даже мальчики и девочки должны учиться, да? Cheap restaurants usually serve bad food. On a night out with friends, where and what you eat isn't important. Not all fast food is unhealthy. Every country thinks that their cuisine is the best in the world. So I want you to discuss these statements and then send me your audio messages. So that's all for now. Thank you for your attention. Goodbye.